be our future U.S. strategy rather than going in unilaterally or virtually unilaterally?
By the way, no one admits to using the word leading from behind, although someone obviously did. But, I mean, I think we kind of did that in Libya, and I think it was a mistake. Not 100% a mistake. I mean, I do think it's a good strategic principle to get other people to do as much as possible. And it's often the case that if they think you're going to take over and do everything for them, then they won't do anything. But I think we just tilted that one too far in the wrong direction. And in particular, what troubles me is that when it came to direct support for the Libyan revolutionaries, I think they call themselves, or freedom fighters, opposition, whatever word you want to use, they had to turn to this little mini state in the Persian Gulf called Qatar for their weapons. There was no reason the United States couldn't have been supplying them. We didn't even have to send people into Libya to train. We could have, there are many ways it could have been done. Well, the Qataris are not, look, they're not the worst people in the world, but they are, in some ways, Islamists of a pretty bad kind, up there with the Saudis. The people that they support in Libya today are doing things like digging up graves at mosques because they think it's sacrilegious to bury people anywhere where you can venerate the grave. They tried to destroy a statue in downtown Tripoli because it offended their religious aesthetic sense. It's like the people who blew up the famous Buddhas in Afghanistan and Bamiyan. I mean, if Libyans want to live that way, we can't stop them, but we certainly shouldn't sit back and let a different foreign power, namely Qatar, empower the people with the worst objectives. So I guess in answer to your question, I think there is a lot of room to hang back a little bit so that other people take some responsibility. But once they've taken that responsibility, and God knows the Libyans certainly took responsibility, we should be more active in helping people who are, to use the word loosely, on our side. I think we got time for one more, actually, right?
Go ahead. Someone want to get up?
Who surrendered the microphone prematurely?
Ambassador. My name is Ankur Bajaj, junior chemistry and economics double major. So my question centers around, I guess, the role of subnational actors or sub-state actors, and I guess how the world is progressing given globalization. How do you feel the American leadership in calculus shifts given this change?
I think I'm always a little suspicious of people who say something is brand new and has never been seen before, and Professor Strauss studies ancient history and would probably be even more upset when people say that. But I do think there's something going on here with the way in which technology empowers even very small non-state actors, for good and for ill. It was a little bit silly 10 years ago when people wrote as though this is all a good thing and nothing bad can happen from it. And I said, well, wait a minute, what about global terrorism? And this was before 9/11. I think this issue of cybersecurity is huge, just huge. And the damage that could be done to our country if some cyber criminal or cyber state figures out how to, and decides they want to shut down our electric power system. It's not just economic. I mean, people are going to die in hospitals. People may even run out of food and water. We are so dependent on certain pieces of critical infrastructure. And the idea that a handful of, I mean, I don't want to keep you up too much tonight, but I think a relatively small number of people with the wrong intentions could do a lot of harm. On the other hand, I think one of the reasons why I'm a little more optimistic than maybe other people that Egypt's not going to turn into a new kind of dictatorship is that I think that it is a Facebook generation, and they haven't asserted themselves very well. It's the old organizations, the Muslim Brotherhood, that have sort of so far taken over. But I think it's going to empower